I'm Kevin Thomas, Senior Pastor at Forest Lake United Methodist. Let's talk about the Gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 24, verses 13 through 35. Now on that same day, two of them were going to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem, and talking with each other about all these things that had happened. While they were talking and discussing, Jesus himself came near and went with them, but their eyes were kept from recognizing him. And he said to them, "What are you discussing with each other while you walk along?" They stood still, looking sad. Then one of them, whose name was Cleopas, answered him, "Are you the only stranger in Jerusalem who does not know the things that have taken place there in these days?" He asked them, "What things?" They replied, "The things about Jesus of Nazareth, who was a prophet, mighty in deed and word before God and all the people, and how our chief priests and leaders handed him over to be condemned to death and crucified him. But we had hoped that he was the one to redeem Israel. Yes, and besides all this, it is now the third day since these things took place. Moreover, some women of our group astounded us. They were at the tomb early this morning, and when they did not find his body there, they came back and told us that they had indeed seen a vision of angels who said that he was alive. Some of those who were with us went to the tomb and found it just as the women had said, but they did not see him." Then he said to them, "Oh, how foolish you are, and how slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have declared. Was it not necessary that the Messiah should suffer these things and then enter into his glory?" Then, beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he interpreted to them the things about himself in all the scriptures. As they came near to the village to which they were going, he walked ahead as if he were going on. But they urged him strongly, saying, "Stay with us, because it is almost evening, and the day is now nearly over." So he went in to stay with them. When he was at the table with them, he took bread, blessed and broke it, and gave it to them. Then their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he vanished from their sight. They said to each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he was talking to us on the road, while he was opening the scriptures to us?" That same hour they got up and returned to Jerusalem, and they found the 11 and their companions gathered together. They were saying, "The Lord has risen indeed, and he has appeared to Simon." Then they told him what had happened on the road and how he had been made known to them in the breaking of the bread. They were going the wrong way. It was Sunday afternoon on the first Easter, and these two disciples were going the wrong way. They were walking away from Jerusalem. Jerusalem is where the action was. It's where the women found the empty tomb. It's where the resurrected Jesus appeared to his disciples. They were walking away because they had lost hope. We had hoped that he was the one to redeem Israel. They believed Jesus would rescue Israel from Roman occupation. He didn't. He failed to be what these two disciples wanted him to be. So they walked away, hopeless. I've walked away too, quite a few times. I remember the time I was disheartened by ministry and even my relationship with Christ. Vacation was coming. My wife and I boarded a cruise ship headed for the Virgin Islands. It was our scheduled vacation, but honestly, I was on the run from church, from ministry, and from God. For a week, I would be free. One night, we went to the 80s show. At one set change, the lights came up to reveal the entire cast in choir robes singing "I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For" by U2. I was sailing away from God and ran into Jesus in the middle of the Atlantic. Maybe you felt hopeless. The job promotion didn't come through. Your relationship is on the rocks. Finances are a nightmare. You're stuck at home in a pandemic. When things are going bad, it's tempting to walk away. But even when we walk away, we run into Christ. Jesus came and walked with the disciples who were walking the wrong way. He stayed with them until they recognized him. When they finally saw him, their sorrow turned to joy. Even if you're walking away right now, Christ walks with you. I pray that you'll see him, maybe through your relationships, maybe through music or devotional times, maybe even through this video. I pray that God will turn your sorrow into joy.